Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
My background is in biotech research. I got my undergraduate degree at UC Berkeley in genetics and plant biology, and then got my master's of bioscience at Keck Graduate Institute, which is a hybrid MBA Master of Science program. Following that, I got a job as a project manager in biotech research at DuPont. So throughout all of this, I gained a lot of experience working and managing research labs and became more familiar with the process of buying lab equipment and supplies. There were a lot of issues with that process. I identified the three main issues that I thought could potentially be improved on. Number one, things are very expensive. The products are expensive because the market is dominated by two main companies, VWR and Thermo Fisher Scientific, and they overcharge for what they sell. It really doesn't cost that much to manufacture. Number two, it's very hard to purchase. They're old school, and sometimes you physically still have to pick up the phone, call your sales rep to order things instead of just being able to buy online. And number three, once you buy something, it can take weeks or months for the products to arrive. So I thought maybe there's an opportunity there to create a small business selling science supplies with high quality products that are cheaper than competition, that are easy to purchase online with just a few clicks, and with quick and free shipping. And using FBA, Amazon, at the time, it was 2-day shipping. Nowadays, you have same-day shipping. My assumptions proved correct, and I was able to build a very successful business based on this.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
I founded this business in 2016 as a small personal side project, side hustle, while I was working at a biotech company. 2 years later, by 2018, it had grown enough that I was making more in the business than my corporate day job. And so I left that job and dedicated myself fully to the business. It's now been 8 years since I started, and it's been more successful than I could have originally anticipated. But honestly, I get bored of things pretty easily. 8 years is longer than I spent in any other job, any school, or really anything else. And I'm ready for something different. It was super exciting when I got my first sales from this company. It was so exciting when I got the first $100,000 in sales. It was exciting when I got the first $1 million in sale, but honestly, it was less exciting than when I got the $100,000 in sales. And over the years, I made a lot of money with this company. It's been very successful, bought a nice house, bought a nice car, and a lot of the motivation to keep it growing as quickly as it had before. I've been told I have the typical entrepreneur mentality where it's very exciting for me to start new projects, new things, than it is to run a mature company. I do care about this company, though. I did create it from nothing, and I'd like to see it continue to grow and be successful. Even if I have no ownership of it anymore, I would feel good if someone else with more motivation can take this over and continue to grow it.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
I've been able to automate a lot of the day-to-day running of the business. So these days, I only work about 2 days a week. My main activities are first to monitor inventory levels and order new inventory when it's needed. I not only use the Amazon Global Shipping Program for the shipping process from the warehouse of the supplier all the way to the Amazon warehouse. This is all managed through Amazon Seller Central. It's a very easy and hands-off process. Really, Amazon takes care of most of it. I also work on customer support. The business makes about 20 orders a day, so that's a lot of potential customer questions, issues, problem with the products. I've partnered with a third party for the past couple of years, and they handle almost all the customer service questions. They know how to troubleshoot issues, they know how to answer a lot of the questions, and they have access to the Amazon Central seller account and other accounts, so they can send replacements, refunds on their own. And they'll only contact me through a ticket system if there's questions or things I haven't seen before they're not quite sure of. So it's about 5 to 10 requests a week, I'd say, of them sending to me through a ticket system. And that's pretty quick to reply to these questions. But the bulk and the majority of the customer support is done by this third party. I also work on direct sales. So I have some customers that will contact me directly to buy bulk purchases. So if they want like 100 units of a product, they can contact me and I'll deal with that directly. Better profit margin that way instead of going through Amazon. I also work on sending payment to tax authorities. I have accountants in US, Canada, and Europe to handle all the filing, all the calculation in that. But they'll tell me what to send to a government agency, and I will do that. Because I sell in many countries, my business is registered in the US, Canada, UK, and the European Union. And even in the European Union, it's by country. So it's registered and I file taxes in Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Czech Republic, Poland. But again, that's all handled by these accountants. I just send the money when they tell me to send it. And then I also spend time looking for and testing new potential products for the future.
So if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
If I keep this business, there's a few areas that I will focus on that I see as high growth opportunities. Number one are medical sales. My company is registered with the FDA as a medical device establishment, which allows it to sell medical devices in the United States. I got into this space during the pandemic. As I saw a lot of my other product sales going down, I was looking for a new product that would keep the company afloat. And so I thought, let's sell some COVID supplies maybe, but for that I needed the FDA registration. So I went through the cumbersome process, kind of expensive process of getting FDA registered, which allowed me to sell nasal swabs for COVID testing. This was very successful. And it turns out this medical space is high profit margins and low competition. Because it's such a hassle to get the FDA registration, there's not that many companies that have it out there, much less than companies that can compete in the overall space. I was actually recently contacted by Amazon for this. They're looking to sell more medical equipment and supplies to hospitals and healthcare organizations. It's an internal program called Professional Healthcare, PHC. They go directly, like door to door, to hospitals and tell them that they can buy for cheaper and faster their medical supplies on Amazon. And Amazon wants me to be part of this program. And so I'm currently looking at what products make sense to sell in that space. Another opportunity I see and that's short term, are these portable freezers I've been starting to sell. They're freezers that can go down to minus 86 Celsius, which is about minus 120 Fahrenheit. Very useful for storing DNA or bacteria or vaccines even. I purchase each freezer for $1,385 landed in the US and sell it for $2,500. And I've been selling a lot of these this year. It kind of surprised me there. And the only constraint so far has been the lack of inventory. So I'm trying to get more inventory and potentially expand to other markets. And that product alone could become the top seller this year that I have. I also see a lot of potential in international expansion. So right now, about 25% of my sales are international, and I only sell a subset of the products internationally. And I'm working on that now to sell the whole range of products I have in the US in other markets. that will grow those sales. And also, Amazon keeps expanding internationally in new countries, and they're really good about getting third-party sellers like me that are already successful in other countries on board and helping us get inventory in those countries and market and all this. So I think as Amazon keeps expanding internationally, so will this business. And then there's a lot of opportunities for new products in this space. There's hundreds of scientific equipment products that could be successfully sold through this brand. I just need to find good products, test them, and set them up for sale. They're not necessarily going to be blockbuster. They're not going to be like the freezer, but incrementally you can get 10, 20,000 extra per product, and that adds up after a while.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
I see two main risks with this business and really any other business that buys products from China to sell on Amazon. First one is having all the suppliers in China. So if there's any issues in the country or with shipping from that country or taxes, customs between that country and the US or Europe, that will affect the business. I've tried to lessen this risk by at least diversifying geographically within China where the suppliers are. This came in handy during the pandemic. As China was shutting down different cities, I always had a supplier still open in other parts of China. So if they shut down Shanghai, my suppliers in Shenzhen were still open and vice versa. I've also tried to lessen this risk by looking for other suppliers in other countries, but so far I just haven't been successful. US and Europe, manufacturing is just too expensive unless I build and own a factory. And I've tried other countries like India, but the quality is not there yet. But I'm still keep on looking for new suppliers in other countries. The second risk I see is being so dependent and having so many sales coming from Amazon. So it's being dependent on this one company. They've been good so far with large third-party sellers like me, because as we grow, they grow too. And in fact, they get a lot of money from fees, and they don't need to put as much work to grow if we do the work for them. But it's still a risk, and I'm trying to lessen that risk by selling on other platforms through eBay, Walmart, my website. But Amazon is just a Goliath in the room. There's just so much of e-commerce goes through them. Kind of don't have a choice at this point to do business with them.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
I'm willing to offer buyers 1 month of full-time, anything they need support to transition the company, and then 5 months of part-time support. So what I mean by full-time support is like full-time job, and I'll answer any phone call, email, text as fast as possible. I'm also willing to travel to where they are to meet in person and do kind of training and the transition more smoothly in person. And then the 5 months part-time that I'll still be available by phone, email, text, or in person, just not as frequently. But my business is highly automated. I only spend about 2 days a week on it, so I don't see it taking more than a couple of weeks really to transition everything over. But I'll be there for any questions you may have. I'll introduce you to the suppliers. I will transfer all the account details, all the accounts under your name. I will teach you about the market, about potential products I see, how I've been running things, and anything else you may need.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out agreement?
My preference would be for full payment upfront, but I am open to discuss other arrangement like an earn-out payment structure.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
This business is very profitable, cash flow positive in a niche market with plenty of opportunities for growth. The top selling products are highly rated on Amazon, earning the bestseller or Amazon's choice mark, and showing up prominently in search results. The brand name is recognized and sought out by customers, so much so that competitors now pay up to $6 a click for their product to show when customers search the brand name only. Most of the day-to-day work is automated, so a buyer has the option to either sit back and receive a steady cash flow every month, or to focus their time and effort on growing it quickly. Sales are about $1.4 million per year now, but I can easily see this get to $5 million if led by someone with a drive and ambition to make it happen. The business is all set up for growth in the medical space, now that it is registered with the FDA as a medical device establishment, which allows it to sell medical devices in the United States. Most of the supplies bought by hospital and healthcare organizations today are still purchased the old school way with telephone calls and catalogs. I believe that more and more of these purchases will be done online in the future, like everything else in our lives. This is a big opportunity. The business is also all set up for international growth, as it is now properly registered with the governments of US, Canada, UK, and most European Union countries. The hard work of dealing with foreign bureaucracies is done. What is left is to offer the full range of products already sold in the US.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you will find everything you need to know about this business. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time.